So Rand Water has announced that parts of Gauteng will see low water supply from next Monday due to routine maintenance, which will see major pipelines shut down for up to 54 hours. The bulk water supply utility has asked residents to use water sparingly, and they've advised that stationary and mobile water tankers will be made available for certain customers. Let's unpack the story for you. We're joined now by Rand Water Executive Manager at the Zuikerbosch plant, Eddie Singo. Eddie, a very good morning to you. Thanks for coming onto the program so early. I mean, you can imagine residents, particularly in the Gauteng region, looking at the story emerging yesterday in the same vein as level 4 of load shedding. So we need to use electricity sparingly and now water as well.
Yeah, good morning, Michelle, and good morning to the viewers as well. I won't say anything about load shedding, but we'll talk about water. Michelle, you would remember in 2019, that was June, we had a major shutdown where we were connecting a brand new pipeline, the B19. Mm-hmm. So where the history comes from is that we've got a B11, which is our raw water pipeline that supplies our Vereeniging water treatment plant. Future assessments in terms of the demand indicated that we need to then expand that pipeline because the demand is growing. Renota has then gone and laid a brand new pipeline, which is the B19. That pipeline is meant to ensure that it augments. So we are increasing the capacity, the raw water capacity from the river to that plant. So,
Eddie, can we give you a second to just deal with whoever's trying to call you? Because I think it's difficult to follow your train of thought.
I'm disconnecting the Bluetooth. Somebody's taking my phone.
Okay.
Bluetooth. There we go. Right. So we laid a brand new pipeline, the B19, which was meant to then augment the capacity of the B11.
Right.
Now in 2019, we connected the first part of it, that is between the B19 and the B11. We are now going to connect the two other cross connections. Why are we doing that? We are increasing the capacity of the supply from the river to that station. But secondly, we are increasing the flexibility of the system itself. So when we do that, we have to shut both lines, connect the two, and then commission them back. It is a 2.5 meter pipeline or 2,500 millimeter pipeline in terms of size. That is why it would take 54 hours. Just draining it takes long. 7 hours just to do the welding. So hence we then took the time to engage with our customers in the form of municipalities to give them a 21 days notice to say, please ensure that you inform customers, make due plans to ensure that customers are not adversely affected. Of course, pressure will be low, but at least people were given notice ahead of time.
So if I understand you correctly, is the major way that people will be affected in terms of low pressure, or will they actually be without water to the extent that water tankers will need to be brought into certain areas?
Yeah, let me start by saying, as we speak now, our capacity or the what we are pumping is 4,840 megaliters. That's what we are pushing into the system. We are taking off the 600 megaliters of it. We'll still be having 4,240 megaliters into the system. When we lower that, you then will have lowered pressure into the system. The expectation is that because we've announced this ahead of time, consumers will then prepare themselves so that they don't use water to an extent that they drain the system. I think it's important to indicate that. So two things are going to happen. One, you will get areas where the pressure is low, but you then may have in high-lying areas where there is no water. But at least the consumers should then prepare for that.
And
then in the areas.
Sorry, Eddie, can I stop you there and just ask you where specifically those high-lying areas are, the ones that will most likely be affected to the extent that they'll have to bring in water tankers?
Look, individual municipalities will then be able to communicate their local areas. So we can tell you that the city of Joburg, as a municipality, is going to experience a bit of challenges. Mohali City is going to experience challenges. The Rustenburg municipality will get. So in the main, your areas in the west of our area of supply, the Mfuleni is also going to be affected. But in as far as which particular areas, individual municipalities will be able to communicate that.
So in areas like Mfuleni that are already struggling with issues around water and sanitation, Eddie, in the long term, a plan like this, which, as you say, is meant to augment supply, is that going to assist where those challenges exist?
Look, in 2019, when we spoke to yourselves or with the media, we did indicate that Randwater is busy augmenting and even refurbishing the infrastructure across the network. We do have areas in the Val as well that where we are increasing the capacity, where we are replacing pipelines. And as far as Randwater is concerned, the Val does not have problems in as far as the supply from Randwater. The challenges that we've got, of course, are when we reduce pressure because of non-payments. I think it's important that we become clear on that one. The VAL system, we have adequate water for them, but of course, if we've got challenges of non-payments, we then have to manage that and reduce pressures.
So 54 days is when you're likely to finish this process of combining these two pipelines and augmenting the system?
Michelle, it is 54
Did you say 54 hours? 54 hours is how long it takes.
Yes.
Sorry about that. Thanks very much. Eddie Singo is Rand Water's executive manager. So 54 hours is how long this process will take to join the B19 and B11 pipelines, and it's all meant to augment capacity for the areas that Rand Water does supply. Please note that your individual municipalities have been given 21 days notice, so they will communicate just how long your particular area will be affected. In some areas, the water pressure will be low. In others, particularly in the higher lying areas of Gauteng, you're likely to have those water outages for up to 54 hours.